And the next speaker is Dr. Yoriko Yasukawa, Regional Director of UNFPA-Asia Pacific. I must say a few words about UNFPA. About 22 years ago, the visionaries of UNFPA leadership, they gave birth to PPD. PPD was born in Egypt at the ICPD conference. The thinking behind the birth of PPD came from the leadership of UNFPA. Their long-term vision and their worldview about how the world will be shaped by the Global South and the contribution of Global South, particularly in promoting the population goals. So I have a great privilege and pleasure to inviting Yoriko. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Joe. Good morning, everyone. Honorable Madam Speaker of the Parliament of Bangladesh, Honorable Minister and State Minister of Health of Bangladesh, Honorable Minister of Health and Family Welfare of India, Honorable Mr. Chairman of PPD and Vice Minister of Health and Family Planning of China, distinguished members of PPD, members of the Diplomatic Corps and the United Nations system, it is an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to address this distinguished group on behalf of the United Nations Population Fund. As Joe has already mentioned, Partners for Population and Development and UNFPA are longtime allies in the effort to move forward the program of action of the International Conference on Population and Development. Over the past 20-some years, PPD has been an invaluable forum to bring together high-level government authorities of developing countries from diverse regions to exchange opinions and experiences with a view to realizing the commitments agreed on in ICPD. This year's Inter-Ministerial Forum takes place at a particularly important moment, as my colleagues have already mentioned, very soon after the adoption of the 2030 Sustainable Development Agenda by the member states of the United Nations. It's an especially significant development for those of us engaged in advancing the ICPD program of action, because like the ICPD, the 2030 Agenda seeks to promote development processes centered on people and not only on economic growth. It seeks to build the conditions for a life of dignity in all spheres of life, the economic, the social, the environmental, with a special emphasis on overcoming inequalities and exclusions to try to ensure the universality of human rights, and also to changing the way we produce and consume so that improving the quality of human life no longer has to mean destroying our planet. It is a moment of great hope and expectation of truly making a leap toward a better world. At the same time, it is a moment when the world is being shaken by terrible tragedies, like the violent conflicts which continue to rage in many countries around the world, the great sea of people fleeing violence and deprivation, only to endure enormous hardship in their quest for a safe home. Acts of incomprehensible terror, like those recently committed in Paris, Beirut, Bamako. These tragedies make us doubt our ability to understand and care for one another, let alone work together toward goals as ambitious as those of the ICPD and 2030 agendas. They make us doubt the simple yet profound exhortation of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act toward one another in a spirit of brotherhood. But precisely because of such moments of doubt, it is also important that gatherings like this one serve to renew our collective commitment to a life of dignity for all people, and especially for those left behind, living in deprivation and despair. And as the State Minister of Bangladesh has mentioned, overcoming our differences, whether of nationality, religion, culture, or ethnicity, to unite around our common humanity. In this sense, it is particularly appropriate that this year's meeting focuses on every woman, every child, every adolescent, the global initiative to ensure a healthy life for all women, children, and adolescents around the world. because this is a goal that those of any political, ideological, or religious conviction and of any culture should be able to embrace. In particular, we owe it to our children who have not yet learned to fear or hate those who are different from them, that we are capable of laying aside those differences to work together for their health and happiness, and to build, starting with children, a world that includes everyone, where everyone counts equally. I therefore hope in this meeting we can together take a concrete step forward in that direction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yoriko. I think Yoriko's statement was a very timely reminder. We are witnessing or we are going through terrible tragedies, and also at the same time, strong signs of hope and strong signs of partnership, strong signs of looking forward through a shared world vision which promotes the rights of every woman, every child, every adolescent. In that context, I'm very happy to say that if you look at our audience, and there are very powerful women also sitting in the audience, and almost a very good representation as well.